but still no hunter. Then I decided there was only one place left to search. The land of New Zealand! Oh, this is not the menagerie. Aina must have taken a wrong turn on the path of exile. I make a joke. You like it? I know where I am. Do you? Do you? Do you? I know because Aina knows. Welcome to ExileCon 2019! Or, as the local survivors like to say, Kia ora! Yes, from the land of the orc, yes. Now, what was I going to say? I have come oh, yes, we have people here from all over the planet, yes? Yes? Very brave to come here all this way. Fine. Come, Shadow, come. This is my Shadow. He goes everywhere with me. Now, do we have any beasts in the building? Oh, there's one. I said, do we have any beasts in the building? Oh, yes, I hear you well now. I can hear. Well, my beast friends, you know what I like to do with a beast? I like to hunt them and kill them with my bare claws. Well, they're not really bare claws, but, you know. If I can't kill them with my bare claws, you know, I like to use my crossbow. I prefer to call it my happy bow. You see, come, Shadow, come. This is how it works. When I'm hunting, first of all, if I'm going for a big beast, like this one here, he looks like a big beast. Stand up, beast. Not you, the big one next to you. You are too skinny. You will make a good carcass, yeah? Very useful. Don't worry, we use all the pieces of the animal, like grinding gears using all the pieces for the game. Big beast, stand up. What is your name? What? Noshi. Okay, welcome, Noshi. Put your hands up so I can aim straight. No, put your hands up. Did I say put them down? I tell you when to put your hands down. So, when I'm hunting a big beast like Noshi, I have to tread very carefully. I'm stalking now. I'm not talking, I'm stalking. And then I'm taking aim, generally in Oshi's direction. And boom, he's captured. You can sit down now. When I'm going for a slightly smaller beast, I have to, yes, you can stand up now, smaller beast. Yes, what is your name? Very exotic name. So when I'm aiming for a smaller beast, like, what? Jason? Okay. When I'm going to take a shot, Jason here, I have to aim more carefully, like this. I'm lining up my shot, and boom! He's been captured. Good, yeah. Aina is very good. Shadow, where are you? You can take it away. Because when I'm hunting little tiny insects,
so I can't
use my crossbow.
I ended up getting.
So I have to stamp on them.
their stream.
It's funny.
kept
Oh,
saying
yeah, it's
like,
funny. So
he didn't need to be there.
if I'm stamping on them,
The traitor.
I have to stamp a few
they
times because
actually
one little insect is not very
set me
nutritious.
off, but there
is
were
it?
other people who did
So
the same
I have
thing.
lots
Who
of
knows what they
insects.
got.
I pick them up. I eat them. Very nutritious.
He is. He's a
Very
traitor.
good.
He's freaking
So,
two-faced.
Today, I have come from very far away to be here at ExileCon. Yes. Do you know how many beasts I had to sacrifice to get here today, just to get the portal open? I lost count at 50 beasts, and I will have to sacrifice 50 more just to get back to my menagerie. But don't worry, because here today, we are here all weekend. All of us here to celebrate. All of us here to celebrate. You are going to get a chance to meet the originals. The first ones from Grinding Gear Games. Don't worry, they are not going to bite you like the first ones Einar is used to. Don't worry. They are very friendly beasts. You are going to get to talk to them, and they are going to talk to you. It's going to be great. Today, at this convention, is here for Einar to meet all his friends and talk about all his achievements. But this is not EinarCon. This is ExileCon! Now, if this was EinarCon, things would be very different. The main event would be sacrifice by combat. Yes, I'm coming to you two. Yes, 2 lucky survivors here. Are you married? Engaged. Oh, then this should be very easy for you. Because when you are married, you will find a lot of fighting going on. A lot of... and you know, very, very easy. So don't worry. Things are only going to get worse. Now, sacrifice by combat. I like that. If this was... listen, I have to say, out there on one of the stages, we have streamers. Do you know what streamers is? Yeah? If this was EinarCon, we would just have lots of blood and goo and snot and everything just pouring off the stage all over you, married people. You like that, huh? We can see who has the biggest bloodstream. It will be good. Oh, I like your hair. It's very nice, Beast. The only problem is he can't see behind you now. You can see. I like it. You have to tell me what you're doing with your hair. So, we are going to have streamers. This is not really what it is. Streamers is where you have another stage out there, and you will be able to talk and speak, talk and meet, more talk, more meat, more talk, meat. I am hungry. I didn't have my breakfast this morning. Meat. No. This is what it is, streamers. Now, the other thing you will be able to do today in ExileCon, you will be able to buy many, many things. Many, many things, you lucky people, that is exclusive here to ExileCon. Let me show. Oh, no, save it. This one is very rare. This is an albino rower. Very rare. Here is a little beastie.
A little fleshy.
It's a baby rower. Very cute, yes? No, it grows into a huge monster and will eat you up. This one is for you somewhere out there. He's captured. He's captured. Here, we have another beast. This is a corp, a sand spitter, I think they call it. Yeah, sand spitter. I think I used to date one. No. think I used to eat one. Yeah, that's it. I now make funny. This one's for you. Oh, yeah. And this one here for you two, because you're lovers. I like you. Give it to them. And one over here. Oh, very good catching. But this is my baby. This is very rare. It's a little albino for my new friend down here. So today we are going to there are announcements to be made. You have to listen out because I have been told by the first ones there are going to be announcements. There are going to be games you can play. So you have to listen, and Aina has been told to say this. I do not know what it means, but this is what I've been told. Aina was also told to prepare a long talk. Yes. This is better, I think, you know. A long talk is boring. Aina is only used to talking to beasts in the menagerie, and they do not listen good. So, a little poetry. Thank you. What is your name? Thank you, Russell, for putting me on the spot. I love to hunt. I love to
I figured
smile.
they were using him to.
But most of all, I love you, exile.
The little Rowan was kind of cute.
But more than that, I love to hunt. Now, I'm going to make a special announcement now. Do not do what the rower do, okay? Do not do your toilet all over the floor and all over the table. All right? There is defecation houses just through into the foyer. Please use that. The other thing, of course, is if there is a fire, please make your way to the nearest safe exit. You will look around, you'll find your nearest exit. Make your way very carefully, very quietly. And if you do want to light a fire, be quiet about it. Now, I think this is all I have to say. So, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you now to 3 of my best friends. They are more beautiful and they smell better than the beasts in the menagerie, except on patch days. They are the reason Aina exists. We wouldn't be here without them. Please put your claws together for the 3 founding fathers of Grinding Gear Games, Path of Exile. Please welcome Chris, Jonathan, and Eric!
All right. Boy.
Love you too. Hi everyone, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. And welcome to ExileCon. This is Eric, our creative director, and of course, he's responsible for all of the scary shit that you've seen and are gonna see. And this is Jonathan, our technical director. How are you feeling?
Everyone, it's pretty scary up here, honestly. You know, like there's a ton of people in the audience, ton of people online. It's
Yeah, there's 6 digits watching on Twitch,
Yep.
plus everywhere else, and there's a lot of people out there. Well, it's honestly really amazing that all you guys could join us here in New Zealand. We understand it's really far away from everywhere else in the world. I think like a 12-hour flight to anywhere except for Australia. Hopefully more than a few of you are doing really fun activities in New Zealand, like visiting Hobbiton. That's really good, worth checking out.
170,000.
So we've been preparing the content you're going to see this weekend for a really long time, many years. And after so many years of planning, it's amazing to finally be here on stage to present it. Thank you so much for coming to see it in person, and thanks to everyone who tuned in from home to watch the live stream. So when we released Path of Exile 1.0 back in 2013, we had around 20 developers at Grinding Gear Games. They fit in one room. That version of the game only went up to Act 3. It was primitive by today's standards, and was the first version of Path of Exile that we were proud enough to call fully released. We knew that to keep the game from getting stale, we had to do something really big every couple of years, in addition to the regular free content expansions. So by 2015, our studio had around 45 developers, moved into its current office, and this allowed us to create an entirely new act of content for version 2.0, extending the length of Path of Exile's storyline by a third. While 2.0 was a big expansion, we knew the jump to hit 3.0 had to be a lot bigger. So we expanded the studio to 90 developers, and were able to add 6 new acts of content in 2017. That was honestly one of the best moments of my life. After keeping the secret that we were adding 6 new acts, there weren't any leaks, we released a trailer that kept revealing new acts in sequence, and the reactions from the community were amazing. It just made all the hard work worthwhile. So since then, we've been asking ourselves the question, how are we possibly going to top that? Well, over the last 2 years, we've expanded up to 145 developers, and we're really proud to finally reveal Path of Exile 4.0.
The gods are dead, but left on their own, men will always seek to take their place.
Criminals! Your sentence is to be hanged from the neck until dead. Let your souls feed the first ones, and your bodies feed the land.
The only result is pain and death.
Escaping! Kill her! Get her!
Woohoo!
Only 20 years since Kitava fell, and already corruption spreads like a plague through these shattered lands. Wretched malevolence lurks in the shadows. It is our calling to put it to an end. It must be done if Rayclass is to survive.
Well, that feels amazing. Thank you. Path of Exile 2 is a storyline set 20 years after the defeat of Kitava. When we finished developing 3.0, we knew that we couldn't extend Path of Exile's campaign forever. Adding more acts would make the game just too long before players got to maps. At the same time, we knew we really needed to bring the quality of Path of Exile's campaign up to a 2019 standard. We realized that we needed to make a new campaign. For years now, we've been wanting to make a sequel to Path of Exile. The problem with that, though, is that sequels split a community between two products. It's also hard for a sequel to compete with the amount of content and features that the original game has. We've just spent 6 years making expansions for Path of Exile, so imagine if we released a Path of Exile 2 and it was just a bare campaign with none of that extra content. This would be a sad shell of an action RPG compared to the current state of Path of Exile. It'd have none of the years of expansion content and improvements that make the game great. So we're creating Path of Exile 2 as a new campaign alongside Path of Exile 1 with a shared endgame. The original campaign is still fully playable, and because it's the same game, it'll still continue to be maintained with all of the updates and game system improvements that we'll make to Path of Exile. When we add new skills to the game, you'll be able to play with them in either the Path of Exile 1 or Path of Exile 2 campaign. and all of the microtransactions and stash tabs that you've purchased in the past will be fully usable regardless of which campaign that you're playing.
Oh, sweet.
Most importantly, all of your favorite Path of Exile expansion content like Delve, Breach, Incursion, and Legion will be fully integrated. At the same time, we wanted the freedom to make all of the changes that a true sequel requires, like changing the skill system, all of the Ascendancy classes, improving the engine, and a lot of other things that we aren't announcing this weekend. Path of Exile 2 addresses all of the things that we feel are deficiencies in Path of Exile 1. We're not abandoning the Path of Exile 1 campaign, though. Not only is it still fully supported in Path of Exile 4.0, we're doing a lot of work to get it up to a 2019 standard. Here's what Act 1 Town looks like in 3.9, which we're releasing in 4 weeks. We're also going through the campaign and we're improving materials to work with our new physically based rendering pipeline. Over the next year, you're going to see a lot of improvements to the Path of Exile 1 campaign, which will be deployed ahead of 4.0 with a 3.9 series of patches. We're also re-rigging all the old character classes to work with the new 4.0 animations, so you'll get all of the ongoing animation improvements in the old Path of Exile 1 campaign as well. In the next year, we're going to continue to deliver 4 amazing leagues on a regular 3-month cycle. All of this content is designed with the Path of Exile 2 campaign in mind, and we'll continue to fold it into the game as needed, like we would with any other league. We don't have a firm release date for Path of Exile 2 yet, and are absolutely going to wait until it's ready before releasing it. We're planning on waiting at least another year with 3.9 expansions before the beta of 4.0 though. So, I'm sure you're wanting to see some 4.0 gameplay. We've prepared a live demo for you. Everything ready, Jonathan?
Everything's ready.
All right, let's go. Today, Jonathan's going to do a short live demo of some of the content we have in this build of Path of Exile 2. This is played right live, like he's literally playing right there. We're starting here at about level 11, which is about halfway through Act 1, and because we want everyone seeing the playable demo of on the show floor to be able to experience the start of Act 1 without having any of the surprises spoiled for you. So right away, as Jonathan plays through the graveyard, you'll notice the massive improvements we've made to the Path of Exile engine since 3.0 was released. Environments, characters, and items all use physically based rendering, which gives the whole game a realistic look. We have new main character classes, new main character class models with all new animations and completely new item base types. Most of these have physics for many of the little details, which look a lot more awesome than before. We put a lot of work into updating skill effects. For example, when you fire a split arrow, you'll really feel the individual arrows because they can stick in objects and they can bounce off others realistically.
That was the main boss.
Oh, this looks so good.
Oh my god, look at that. Those turrets are badass. Or they're totems. Totems are turrets. One of the
Slight spoiler, but that support gem he's using turns any skill into a barrage. Any bow skill. So, the 4.0 campaign contains a variety of optional side quests that lead to meaningful boss encounters. Relatively soon now, Jonathan's going to encounter an NPC called Lachlan, who has lost his family and needs help.
I know you're watching this, but holy shit.
My family, where are they? Isabel and the boys were only to be gone for a few minutes, but it has been, I don't even know how long. Hours at least. Days, weeks. What season is it? Stranger, I know we have just met, but I'm so worried about them. Around here, they could have fallen into a sinkhole or been choked by grave dust. Please, could you see to their safety?
The game has changed a lot more than just visually, though. One of the things we've really wanted to do for a long time is to make fundamental changes to Path of Exile's skill system. The skill system in POE is really cool and versatile. Personally, it's one of my favorite things about the game, but there have always been some awkward things about it. We really wanted to find a way to address all of the shortcomings while not sacrificing even a single bit of the functionality that we already have. So, you can see in the inventory here, there's something missing. All of the sockets on the items. This is because in Path of Exile 2, you no longer put gems into your items. Instead, the skill gems themselves have sockets, as you can see here, and there is a dedicated screen for socketing them. Jonathan's going to change his split arrow skill for Ice Shot and add some support gems to it. There are some really big advantages here. For one, every single skill gem in Path of Exile 2 can be a 6th link. This is going to cause huge changes in how players design character builds. In the past, players didn't want to have more than one primary attack skill because you could only have 1 or 2 6 links on your character. Now it's totally viable to have a lot of powerful primary attack skills with full support gems. The thing I'm really happy about though is you don't have to screw around with your gems all the time when you're leveling. Check out this bow here. The socket colors are the same between the 2 bows. They're both 4 green sockets like every other bow in the game. And this means that when you find a new item, you just slap it on. You don't have to think about getting fusings and jewelers out because you do that on the gems themselves. As we swap between the bows as well. And for clarity, this means that in-game, when you're trying to roll your perfect item, you can focus on the mods and separately on the sockets and the skills. So you'll see here as Jonathan swaps the bows, the DPS values for all your skills update at a glance, and that's because we've completely changed how the character screen works and so on. Jonathan will go into more detail later today about that. So it's still possible to fine-tune socket colors on items if you need to, but because everything that drops has fixed sockets, it's way easier to just pick something up and put it on while you're leveling. For new players, another really great advantage is it's now impossible to socket a support gem into a skill gem it doesn't work with. For example, multiple projectiles here just can't go into Leap Slam, but as you can see, it works on the other bow skills. So you might be wondering about skills like auras. A lot of the time in the old skill system, you would throw a few gems together in a 4-link with few or no support gems. How can you do that when you have such a limited number of active skill slots now? The answer is meta gems. Meta gems are like super support gems. They let you put multiple actives into them. For example, we want to run a few different auras on this character, so we put the proficiency gem into the character and load it up full of auras.
Oh, shit.
It even gives you a single keybind you can use to cast all of the auras with 1 click.
Son of a bitch. Oh, yeah.
Come on. Trigger gems like Cast on Crit are also meta gems, so this means you can put an entire Cast on Crit setup in 1 gem as one of your 8 6 links you can now have.
8 6 links.
There is a huge amount more to talk about with what meta gems allow you to do with Path of Excel's skill system, and Jonathan will be going into all of it in the POE 2 gameplay deep dive later today. He'll cover how all the existing Path of Excel things work in Path of Excel 2, as well as introducing a whole lot of new stuff. That is a talk not to miss.
That is freaking amazing.
Oh, and I should add, the supports you're seeing here for the bow skills, they're 3.9 content, so you'll get to see that much, much sooner. And that's something I want to emphasize. While Path of Exile 2, as we're now calling the campaign, is still quite far away, we are getting as much of the content in as early as we can, apart from the campaign itself. So you'll get to play most of the new stuff we're doing quite a lot earlier. It's the campaign and the skill system that are being rolled out on launch day. So one of the things we really wanted to improve on Path of Exile 2 was our lighting system. The new PBR rendering, in addition to a much more realistic light fall-off, makes this area look significantly better than we could possibly achieve in the past. So you can see here there are some monsters called courtesans who can explode the blood cretins. When blood cretins are covered in blood, they get a lot stronger, so you have to be careful. We've tried very hard to design very interesting monster fights, starting as early as Act 1 of the new campaign.
This area generated much longer than it usually did in every other demo we did.
Yeah, but that's actually a feature that we're proud of. We have put a lot of work into make sure there's even more randomization on our random areas. I know racers will hate to hear that because they can't memorize the layouts, but we want it to be very, very hard to find your way around. And there's a talk that Reese is doing later, I think it's tomorrow morning, where we're talking about topics like world generation and stuff like that, rather than just level generation. You'll see what he has to say, but it's pretty interesting.
You still got your little map. You still got your buffs and debuffs up
Had to happen on the stage demo.
We have to give you an authentic Path of Exile experience involving some backtracking.
I've got a Quicksilver, so we're all right.
Really freaking awesome. Really awesome.
Here we go.
Oh, this run-through is going a lot better than some of the rehearsals we did. It turns out some of the monsters hit pretty hard if you're not good at it, so... What's that, sorry? Yeah, you gotta level your gems up, Jonathan.
Oh, it's terrible.
So this is XRCon plays POE. Okay, should he go left or right? Awesome.
Please make them stop. They're whispering. They're screaming. No, don't give in. You're not dead. You're still moving. You're still here.
I can see a chaos build for...
So one of the things that's really exciting about creating an entirely new campaign is that we get to apply all of our boss creation skills to early bosses as well. The first few acts of the original Path of Exile have bosses that are some of the earliest content we ever made, and their age is really showing. For comparison, this fight here is at the same level as Fairgraves in the original campaign, but as you can see, it's a lot more advanced with a lot more going on. New level up animation. So here we are in Einhar's favorite place, the hunting grounds. Now, we're ready to show you something that players have been requesting for a really long time. You've seen it, in Path of Exile 2, we finally have shapeshifting. So, each shapeshift form can use any regular Path of Exile 2 attack. That makes sense. Here on the Werewolf, for example, we're using Leap, Slam, and Cleave. And one of the things that we thought was really important with shapeshifting is that you can change back and forth at literally any time, mid-animation, walking around in the middle of a skill, whatever, just hit the button and change forms.
It looks so much more smooth in the gameplay than the V4 gameplay.
So one of the things that we're really proud of is a new grass technology we have. It's done using pre-computed ray tracing and is way nicer looking and has much better performance than what we used before. Got some friends there?
That's a burning arrow. Let's see what we got for burning arrow in there.
So, that right there is a small slice of Path of Exile 2.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. So, almost the entirety of Act 1 of Path of Exile 2 is complete and playable today on the show floor. It's not just those areas, it starts right on the riverbanks at the beginning, like you saw in the trailer, play all the way through, that's somewhere in the middle. If you can make it in the 45-minute timer, just keep playing, see if you can get to the Act boss that isn't done yet, we'll see. Please check it out and let us know what you think. You can play it on the bottom floor of the convention or on the top floor on one of the 120 Omen gaming PCs generously provided by HP. It's a logo. So, as I said, the demo on the show floor is played right from the start of Act 1. It has quite a lot of different content than what you just watched. If you're watching from home, the best way to see this demo, because you can't play it unfortunately, is to watch one of the streamers who's going to be playing the demo throughout the weekend. The first of these is at noon in New Zealand time in 90 minutes when Kriparian plays while chatting with Jonathan. So, some systems in Path of Exile 2 are not ready to announce yet, and so they're not present in today's demo. The first thing a lot of you are doing is hitting P to see the passive skill screen. Surprise, it's just the same as the In Development 3.901 for now. That's because we'll work out what we're doing with the passive skill screen, blow your socks off with that, and then announce that at some stage before release. So in around 3.5 hours at 2 p.m., Jonathan's going to present a deep dive into some of Path of Exile's 2 new game mechanics. A closer look at the new skill system, metagems, 19 new ascendancy classes, and more. So, you definitely need to be here at 2 p.m. to watch that, but conveniently, it's after my 1 p.m. deep dive about 3.9.0, which is equally good, so you're here for the afternoon, basically, and if you're watching from home, I'm sorry if you live in Europe right now. So, we've just announced how we're making huge changes to Path of Exile's campaign in 4.0. How about the endgame? Well, it's been 2 years since we launched War for the Atlas, which was our last substantial endgame-focused expansion. So we feel it's high time for some big changes. What we'd like to show you now is what's coming in Path of Exile 3.9, which will be released in 1 month.
Listen carefully, for this is important. I worked with a group of exiles once, much like yourselves. Together, we faced a terrible evil that plagued the Atlas and threatened our world. Through great perseverance, we were able to defeat the Elder. But it wasn't enough. They kept going back. Over and over, again and again. There was something inside them that could never be satisfied. They sought more power, more prestige. They sought to rule and conquer those strange lands. Each time they returned, I feared more and more what they were becoming. So I did what I thought was right. I sealed them in the Atlas.
Oh, damn.
They found a way back.
MDX is gonna deal with that. Number 14.
Path of Exile, Conquerors of the Atlas is an expansion with a new endgame Atlas storyline set after the defeat of the Elder. The exiles who defeated him have become a danger to Rayclast, so Zana has attempted to trap them in the Atlas. I guess there's only so much grinding you can do before you go insane, eh? From what we can see, Havoc and Steel Mage are both pretty close to that point right now. So when you first open the Atlas in 3.9, it's going to look significantly different. First of all, you notice you now start in the center of the Atlas. But the much larger change is there are only 91 maps to start with. In order to unlock the rest, you're going to need to find and defeat the Conquerors to take back watchstones and socket them into the Atlas. Socketing one of these watchstones into a region of the Atlas will both level up the tier of maps and reveal new maps. You can socket up to 4 watchstones into each region, revealing all the maps and eventually raising the level of the entire Atlas so that every map is between tier 14 and 16 if you want. Because you can socket and unsocket these watchstones whenever you like, you can completely customize which maps you're finding on the fly as your strategy changes. Yep, it's amazing. You're going to fight 4 of the Conquerors many times as you play through the new Atlas. These are challenging fights, so it's only fitting that they have some special rewards. If you're lucky, a Conqueror might drop a new type of support gem that we're calling a Support Gem Plus. These new gems are better versions of existing supports, which at level 1 are more powerful than the level 20 versions of the ones they replace. So this has an additional fork compared to the normal one, for example. Okay, there's plenty more stuff to discuss about Conquerors of the Atlas. For example, how do you get these cool new currency items? We'll go into more detail about this, along with the Support Gem Plus system, the final boss fight, what's replacing Shaper and Elder Rares, new skill and support gems introduced in 3.9, and more in the deep dive presentation later today. Like every other Path of Exile expansion, Conquerors of the Atlas also contains a new challenge league, and we have a trailer of that league to show you.
Take a clean knife and cut a sample of flesh. Repeat 4 times. Mix the 5 samples in an equiphometic solution. Heat. Stand back. The intrinsic darkness will make itself known. Observe its anger, its aggression. Observe its changing form. Never comfortable to stay in one shape for long. It will try to kill you. Best not let it. Plunge the clean knife repeatedly. Try more heat. More. Perfect. Only every living creature to go.
In the Metamorph Challenge League, you will find and collect samples from some of the monsters you kill. Tane Octavius will let you combine multiple samples of monsters together to create a shape-shifting metamorph whose skills are derived from the monsters you combined. Defeating the metamorph will yield many rewards, including new currency items called catalysts that let you add various types of special quality modifiers to your jewelry. These quality modifiers both improve specific types of mods on your jewelry and also make it easier to craft associated mods. At the endgame, multiple map bosses can be combined to create a single, highly dangerous but rewarding metamorph. I'll be doing a deep dive into both the Conquerors of the Atlas expansion and the Metamorph League that comes with it at 1 o'clock today in just over 2 hours. We'll, of course, be live streaming this. So, for a year, we've had a few developers working on a bit of an experimental skunkworks project at the studio. Let's watch a video about it.
So mobile games are kind of bullshit, right? You know, pay to win microtransactions, time gates, energy bars, random nag screens, notifications, video ads. You know, you get the idea. There's really a lot of evil garbage going on in mobile games today. But in 2012, when we first released Path of Exile on PC, you really could have said the same thing about a lot of free-to-play games there too.
So this is what it looks like. There are 8 skill binds, 5 flasks, the same gear you'd expect to see on any Path of Exile game. One of the major benefits of this project was the tech we've developed. It's allowing us to improve our tools and engine and system across the board for all platforms. Our goal is to bring Path of Exile to mobile with absolutely zero compromise.
We wanted to make something that is a real Path of Exile game. We didn't just farm it out to an external studio. It's developed entirely by a team here in New Zealand. The only thing that's fundamentally different between phone games and PC games is that you expect to play for shorter game sessions on a phone. Maps are a perfect length to have the quick turnaround time required for mobile gameplay, while retaining all of the deep systems that Path of Exile players expect.
back then, we really felt like we could do free-to-play on PC without all that player-hostile stuff. So we thought, maybe we can do the same thing on mobile. Maybe we can make a game that bucks all those bullshit trends and make it something that's a good game first, that just so happens to be played on the phone.
Blizzard has hands down just been destroyed by grinding gear games.
So needless to say, around a year ago, it became real difficult to announce that. But we figured if we make a sequel and give you that first. So, look, the mobile project is really experimental. We haven't really fully decided where we want to go with it yet, but we welcome feedback, and our plan is basically have it at the show floor. It's upstairs in the chill out zone, which is secretly a mobile zone all along, and it's marked as a chill out zone on the map to fool you. And play the game, let us know what you think. And on a personal note, this isn't scripted, this part. So on a personal note, I was apprehensive about this project, right? Like I was unsure we'd be able to do it, but playing the build this week, it's good. It runs fast, it plays well, give it a shot. Let the actual demo do the talking. We're gonna get Jskee to play it with Trevor, the mobile Fall guy, later in one of the stream sessions. So we'll see his actual legitimate reactions, and let's make it a good product together, because we all want to be able to have something fun to do on phones when we're on the bus and stuff, so give us your feedback. We'll make this what you need it to be. All right. So, one of the great things about porting Path of Exile to iPhone, and of course Android, is that we can easily create a version that runs on macOS. So next year we'll be releasing Path of Exile on macOS alongside 3.10, 3.11. Now, this is going to be the same version as the PC version. It plays on the same servers, it's the same game, not segregated. It's just that you play it on your Mac, so you can play it at work. So, I'm also pleased to announce Path of Exile's third collaboration with Twitch Prime. Just before the release of Conquerors of the Atlas next month, we'll be launching a 3-month promotion where Twitch Prime members receive a free set of microtransactions every month. You can receive a free 1-month trial of Twitch Prime, of course, to try it out and receive free microtransactions on Path of Exile and other participating games. So, you may have looked in your swag bag and found a box with some cards in it. At ExileCon, we really wanted players to interact with our staff, so we came up with a game that has a few social elements. Think of it as a card game action RPG that you can only play at ExileCon. So all of the GGG staff members will be walking around ExileCon as monsters. On their t-shirts, you can see their stats, and in the deck boxes, you'll have weapons and armor you can use to defeat the monsters. So when you kill them, and please don't actually kill them, you'll be rewarded with more cards as drops. Your character can have equipped 1 armor, 1 weapon, and a shield, or a 2-hand weapon, just like the game, as well as an amulet and 2 rings. The damage on your weapon has to be equal to or larger than the defense on the monster, and the defense on the armor and shield has to be equal to or larger than the attack on the monster. Your rings and amulets can count as either attack or defense, and they're pretty rare to find. This is explained on the rules, and of course ask any staff members if you need help. To attack a monster, just walk up to a staff member wearing a shirt and show them the equipment you want to use. They'll give you the reward and remove some of the durability from your items, so make sure you don't waste your best items on the trash mobs on the lower level. Now, I should note, the staff have been told what rules to individually use for durability damage, so if they totally wreck one of your best items, that's because their instructions say that that monster wrecks your best items. So it's not their fault, don't get angry at them. So, what's next? Right, you're not allowed to attack the same monster twice in a row, so keep walking around to encounter different staff members. Once you've defeated Katava, then you can start grinding maps. Zana, played by her actual voice actress, is over by the map device on the middle floor where you can buy some maps. Make sure you visit the crafting bench on the top floor if you want to use your currency items. If you can get far enough in maps to kill the Guardians, you'll be able to collect fragments required to challenge the Shaper. Of course, that's me. While I'm going to be super busy during the convention, I'll make time to talk to anyone at the Twitch after party who can bring a set of fragments to challenge me. There's one other thing I wanted to mention. Thanks, I know who you are. I know the account name. There's one other thing I wanted to mention while I'm here. We're hiring. So if you want to work for Grinding Gear Games and feel you have the game development experience and skills to make an impact on Path of Exile, please email us at hr@grindinggear.com with a cover letter, resume, and if applicable, code samples or an art portfolio. And the poor person that checks that email address just got a bad surprise. Okay, guys, so it's time to go and explore ExileCon. In addition to the card game, there's heaps of other things to do. You should definitely play the gameplay demo of Act 1 of the Path of Exile 2 campaign. Upstairs, you'll find a chill-out zone where you can try the experimental mobile project. Online at pathofexile.com/exilecon is your schedule that shows what talks are happening where and what time your favorite streamers or developers will be hosting meet and greet sessions or appearing on the streamer stage to answer questions and play Path of Exile 2. Tomorrow, Riker will interview my personal heroes, David Brevik and Max and Eric Schaefer, founders of Blizzard North and creators of Diablo 1 and 2. That's going to be a session you can't miss. You'll probably also want to watch the racing finale tomorrow to see who is going to be crowned the ExileCon 2019 race champion, winning $10,000. Finally, don't forget to check out the 390 and 400 deep dives in 2 hours here in the main theater for heaps more information about the new expansions. After all of that, we'll see you at the Twitch after party tomorrow night to relax after a long and very busy weekend. Thank you so much for attending and have a great show.
Thank you so much.
You're not mic'd.
I know I'm not mic'd.
There we go.
No, there we go. Thank you so much, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It is so good to have you guys here.
Yeah. That was great. Awesome. All right.
It feels like we worked towards this for 13 years now. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, see you around ExileCon. I'm the elder, by the way.
Yep.
I'm gonna
see you guys later.
He's the Shaper and the other's the Elder. Got it. Alright, peeps. I'm going to leave this up because they might go to talking one of the bills, so I'm going to go ahead. Plus, and we'll have to come back to it. The new league, I'm just spot on. The new expansion for Exile 2, freaking amazing looking. And they're going to be implementing this stuff coming in with 3.9. So that in itself is going to be pretty amazing. I really can't wait to see that it does drop. Come the 13th. Yeah. It's going to be something else. Now, they said at 11 a.m. So 11 a.m. their time is... What time? I don't know.
Ow. Wow.
Yeah.
That was wild. Path
Play it.
2.
When can I play it? I want to play
like
it.
an hour, dude. Chill.
But that's like 60 minutes away.
True. Too long. Holy moly. I don't know. Very first impressions. Bit like the thing that grabbed you the most. Go.
Arc and gritty.
Yeah.
Wow. No, just like amazing, to be honest.
Yeah. Like the animations. The shape-shifting animations. Oh my god. Crip.
I feel it's a very smart direction for them to take the game. I think a lot of the people that have been invested in Path of Exile for like 7 years now do it because they see a certain genius in the development team, but they see that generally, historically, through the game mechanics. And I think they've taken this point to realize that, you know, maybe we can even blow them away with how the game looks and feels and plays. And look, I haven't played the game. We were honest with you guys. We hadn't seen anything in terms of what you just saw there before our, you know, pre-show. But I'm actually very excited to try it. And I think trying it is going to be the experience. Because I feel like they're trying to really blow us away with everything else now. So, gimme.
Yeah, I did not expect that level of, like, jump forwards and the look and feel of all that. Like, the early game bosses that they were showing were insane. Like that bell beast thing, what was the crow bell?
I mean, for me, it was even just the new thing where you see the other exiles getting hung.
Yeah,
That was so good.
So good.
Yeah,
That's a great
like
intro.
that
You pick your one exile and the rest die. They're dead. Snapped. That was savage. I think the thing I'm like most excited about though is the skill gem system change. I've heard from Chris before that the idea of like putting them on the gears had its problems. It really locked you in like so much, and for a lot of players they get into a position where they don't want to try new skills. They don't want to like change their gear around because it's a massive hassle or very restrictive to be able to do that. But then on top of that, like we're gonna have more skills to play with now because what do they say, 8?
Like 8 6 links,
8
which
6
is
links?
quite a couple.
It's like an insane concept.
It's certainly a really big problem when people watch someone else play Path of Exile. And as the player, there's a lot more going on than pressing one button. But for someone who watches someone else play the game, it often is that because you tailor your character around one skill. And the reason you do that is because, as you very clearly identified, you can typically only have one 6-link, maybe 2 6-links. But my experience when I'm using a character with 2 6-linked gems, I'm cutting hard on like curses or auras or summons or something else is not happening. Even the quantity of gems, let alone the links themselves, is sacrificed. So on the flip side, Path of Exile has always been a game where it's a struggle to get the premium stuff. So now that everyone's going to have a whole bunch of gems and links and be able to use all these skills, I'm really curious to hear kind of like the follow-up on that. Like, how do they make it a restriction? What is the barrier to actually getting full-fledged 6-links? Are they going to make certain gems a lot more rare? Or are they going to have like some kind of intermediary gems that are very common that work almost as good as the rare gems? I mean, maybe that's not even a system at all. Yeah, I'm really curious to hear more about what they have in store. It's certainly very exciting, but I feel like they could have had a 2-hour presentation.
Yep, absolutely. And there is like the deep dives coming up a little bit later today, which I think is supposed to answer some of those questions. But yeah, how do you like upgrade the amount of sockets you have available? Is it based on an item progression thing still, or is it some other system? What happens to fusings and jewelers and chromes? Do they have a purpose now?
Sure, there's someone out there with like 99999 fusings in their stash tab. He's like, my life is ruined.
I think it's also a really nice way to like normalize the difficulty, because I think with a lot of the talks I've had with devs before, one of their biggest issues is how do you balance around people with everything and nothing. So it seems like more people are getting 6 links, that should be able to make like the difficulty a lot more consistent, because you know what players are going to have, and it's not like a guy in like tier 4 map sort of 2-link, you know.
Well, I feel like so
that's going to be pretty good too.
we don't play characters with one skill, but we do play characters around one primary skill. And what often is the side effect of that is the secondary skills, they're still very important to the overall power level of your character. Using those skills is not that important. So like maybe you have a leap slam, but you're using a leap slam to move. But suddenly if you have a 6-link leap slam, you're going to start using leap slam for damage. So suddenly you're using leap slam for damage, it actually matters where you leap slam. And suddenly, if you have a 6-link leap slam, maybe you're making a different gear consideration, because maybe you want like some unique that has a bunch of damage to movement skills, right? Could be, right?
I mean, or even
so it just opens up so much, and I think it makes gameplay a lot more interesting when these skills that will still be using leap slam, but when you can kill stuff with leap slam, when it's part of like the actual character's identity, it's just a whole different game.
And this opens up the potential for them to explore new designs of skills that slot into a system that wouldn't have made sense before, like a skill that you use only every so often.
Here's the live stream button. let that load. Here's our schedule. It looks like I said I'm going to be stopping. But I'll leave this up just in case I'm time. And they start all of this set up. Is the new window. Like I said, they're got some stuff going on. So at 10 a.m. that's what they started this. It's already been streamed. They are now doing some stuff like that. This here, streaming game effects in Path of Exile with Ivan Leon's. Oh, Leon. Really? Can't get to it?
Of Exile. I never really imagined Path of Exile being a different game visually in any way, right? I never thought that there would be a Path of Exile 2, let alone graphically, right? They still kind of captured how the greediness of Path of Exile works, but it's so like super realistic that I think it'll appeal to people that didn't enjoy the greediness of Path of Exile. I think through Path of Exile 2, even like take away all the gameplay improvements, all the skills, all the campaign, all the acts, take all of that away. I think Path of Exile suddenly becomes a game that appeals to a much wider audience. Obviously, everyone here loves the grittiness, but there's a lot of people out there that just, you know, they need something hyper realistic, or they need
Never
something
connected
hyper
with it before,
cartoony
but
or
now
something.
they can, yeah.
It's a more widespread potential to appeal to an audience that I think this is a big deal. A lot of people play these games because of the community, and the Path of Exile community has always been a strong point. I hope you guys are inviting, but I think there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be part. So you guys better be nice on Reddit. I think that trailer is going to go a long way on the internet, and I think a lot of people are going to start looking at Path of Exile as their new main game. So be nice, guys, and let's see what we have in store.
I think the thing as well is, and like it won't show as much here because there's a slight separation, but for most of that trailer, there was lots of just me and Ziggy just going, whoa, look at it, it looks really cool. Just like saying Path of Exile 2 is kind of weird, just to be like 2 on the end. But it looks amazing, and I think it's also the fact that the trailer looks good, and then the gameplay looked good. And
good?
Very good, very good.
Good is like a 7 out of 10 for me. I would go quite a bit above that.
super good. It looked. Wow. They got me on here for my amazing words. It looked many goods, and the fact that it wasn't just a case of.
What about like good to the good, like to the power of good?
Yeah.
Good squared. Good squared.
I think we should stop this because we'll go on for 20 minutes. But
Good wordsmithing, Taki.
it looks nice. So basically, not only does it look nice, and Chris said nice words, but it was the fact that you could actually like see it backed up in the gameplay and what Jonathan was playing. And what often happens when a new game comes out, I see the cinematic, I'm like, this looks awesome, and then I get less excited the more I see. I'm more excited after that, and.
Yeah, they weren't afraid to like get in and show actual gameplay demo. I expected a trailer. I expected, some like explanation.
I was expecting
but
death. What was that 1 HP thing? Someone disable his potions.
Jonathan just clutching it through. But the live demonstration was sick, and you get those unscripted moments. It's like, oh, the level's a bit too long, or I got lost in backtracking. It was like, yeah, it's still Path of Exile.
Everything was over the top. Like, now that you mention it, people take that for granted. They companies out there, they announce their game, they're like, here it is, and it's an extremely edited, out of like beta clips pieced together. That was played by someone, right? That was a live demo. I think a lot of people will take that for granted as they see some other company release some footage of their game, but that's not the same thing. That played very well, that seemed like it was extremely smooth. The skills are very complicated, yet very easy to understand on the screen. Like, I don't know what skill that was, but yeah, you shoot it up in the air, it falls down and casts Ice Shot.
Yeah, it was a new modifiers that allow you to like turn things either into a barrage or like a
arrow nova or something.
We all got that, right?
Yeah.
As complex as the skill was, the graphics seemed simplistic enough to understand what was happening, which again is a problem that they didn't identify in their presentation, but certainly exists in action RPGs these days. The more complicated the skills, the more difficult it is to actually understand what's happening on the screen and watch someone else play.
I mean, not only is there visual clarity, but also the fact that even though 4.0 is like a year away, we get to see the improvements now. Like, we're seeing a lot of the new bow tech coming in with 3.9. And while it might be a while until we get to play the new campaign, we actually get to play the new stuff. It's not just like, here's something you might maybe get to play in 5 years. It's actually like happening, which is what I think is really cool about it. And I have to admit, I even thought mobile looked pretty good. I'm someone who spends a lot of time like on buses because I don't have a car. Chris, feel free to buy me a car and driver's lessons. But anyway, yeah, it looked cool. It looked cool. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
You seem very nervous. The internet will rip you apart.
I'm trying. Okay, so last time I spoke about a mobile game, it didn't go very well.
You're telling me?
Yeah. Oh, really? Have you had any experience with mobile games?
Of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks. What did we agree on? Nice. It looks nice.
Good squared.
Good
yeah,
squared.
no, I think everyone is really nervous about the idea of like a mobile version of Path of Exile. I think, Chris was very nervous about announcing that, but at the same time, like, they were talking about how when they announced the game initially, free-to-play was a barren wasteland of terrible, terrible games for the most part. And they kind of like showed something could be different about that. So they're trying to do that, I guess.
Obviously, we have the least context on the mobile game. I don't think it's fair for us to say, yes, it's the best thing ever, or, yeah, we just don't know. But going with what I've been saying with their presentation just now, I feel like they were very humble with what they were announcing.
Yep.
We see other companies, when they have announcements, everything is like, oh my god, guys, this is the best thing ever. Here's this like 10-second clip of mashed up buggy content that we kind of edited into a clip that looks like decent gameplay that you may have seen before, but not really. We promise it's different. But what we actually saw there was a real difference in many angles, in many ways. So I'm kind of excited about the mobile game based on that. That the presentation offered a tremendous amount of substance rather than hype. I think, yeah, they were very humble about it, and certainly were very humble about the mobile game, as they probably should be with the negative connotations that come with the mobile release of anything these days. But I'm quite excited to try it. I do like my mobile games, and I do think that it's probably not a hopeless project if they announced it here.
Yeah, and so this was the one thing that I actually did know a little bit about.
So can I just say, screw you? Because I've spent so many days like, so Ziggy. He's like, no, I know nothing, Taki. You can trust me. I'm your friend.
Okay, the context for this is that Chris approached me and he says, I want to know if you want to volunteer to do this thing, but in order for you to be able to agree to it, I need to tell you what it is. I need to spoil it because of the connotations. So Chris was like, I don't want to just drop you in on something like this if you don't want to do the mobile thing. So later on I'm doing a hands-on with it with the lead developer who's kind of working on the mobile project. And I was like, I'll give it a go. So that had to get spoiled for me. But yeah, Chris is, the biggest thing I got from chatting to him about that is that they are not really sure what they want to do with it, apart from that they want to make as their version of what is a good mobile game. So it's at the moment it's just a very close recreation of Path of Exile on mobile. And Chris said they're open to either keeping it that way and developing that out, or making or changing it a bit more and making it a bit more of a different game, more of a standalone, unique mobile experience based on feedback. I think that was the thing that I took away from it. So I think if you guys are at the event and you play it, then give that feedback, because I think Chris is pretty hungry for that. Like I said, I think they're all a bit unsure about it, but it's something that they want to try. So. Yeah. I
know we haven't really talked about it, but also the whole Conquer of the Atlas 3.9 thing.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, as this is going, I'm trying to unpack everything we saw. So we saw Path of Exile 2, which is a new game, which is insane, but they're still updating the old game. Then we have Conquerors of the Atlas, which is the new 3.9 expansion. Then Metamorph, which is the League.
That's the Challenge League, yeah.
Yeah, which also looks pretty cool. And mobile. And a card game. And yeah, it's just
well, I think they were pretty clear that the card game is not an actual game outside of ExileCon.
It's a full-blown card game. I'm going to be selling cards. Don't ruin this. Okay. I'm going to have my eBay account set up soon. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, the Conquerors of the Atlas thing, so it's a completely new endgame system. I freaking love the way that they announced it, where they're the players have gone evil. They're too lusting after. They keep going back, even though we defeated the Elder. They keep going back. What are they doing? I sealed them in there. I freaking love that. It's the meme that there's only one monster left on the map. It's me.
It's good. I also like the new currencies as well, getting Hunters Exalted Orbs and all this other stuff.
Well, most of the other people are going to get those. We might get one.
We'll get one on the first day. People complain about stream RNG, then we'll get nothing for 3 weeks.
Or you find one and chat is like, no, what are you doing? Don't use it on your items. No, you sell it for Chaos Orbs.
Oh, God. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I'm very curious, what that means for. I guess I'll explain this in the deep dive later. But what that means for Elder Shaper, seems to be gone as a part of this. Will that become a separated out kind of thing?
I don't think they'll delete it.
It's certainly an interesting way to make items into legacy items.
Yeah. Ooh.
If they are removing them, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens with that. But I mean, that kind of reminds me of the fact that the Path of Exile 2 is they're retaining the existing 10-act campaign and then adding this new, did they say 7 acts or something?
7 acts, yeah.
Yeah, so kind of going for something a little more reasonable maybe, yeah. Even though they're completely remaking a new campaign. But it's set 20 years after the events. But they still have both of them. I'm guessing this is a standard, a standard kind of version of the game, a standard league sort of thing.
You're confusing me now, but yeah, basically...
Kentucky.
It works. In my head, it makes sense. Okay, so basically, I'm guessing it's just you play Path of Exile 2, you do all the new stuff, everything carries over. If you want to, you can do the old, and it's all...
The way that it kind of makes sense to me is maps are always the end game.
Yep. Yeah.
However form they exist in, once you get to a high enough level to tackle on the end game system, that's what you're playing most of the time. The acts in the game, they act as a way for your character to progress through the game, learn a story, and acquire items, and basically learn how you want to set up your character through the quest, through the challenges, and through the items that you find. I think the idea behind Path of Exile 2 is the journey to get from wherever you start off in the world to the map endgame is going to be different. and with a different set of challenges and different environment, I think it's pretty appropriate. Because if you think about it, Path of Exile 1, you know, the old world, it's got 10 acts. As they talked about it, the new world's going to have 7. But if they go from 10 acts to 17, it's kind of like, you know, yeah, we're going from level 60 to 65 in our game, you know? So it's not quite as interesting. When they're promising a new story, when they're promising a new parallel, I think they have a lot more creative freedom, and I think it allows the user a more interesting and compelling experience. And I'm sure there's going to be some trade-offs. I don't think it's going to be just completely isolated. I think there's going to be some reasons to use one storyline rather than the other. Maybe some characters will be more adept to one of the storylines. Maybe spellcasters would be better taking the Path of Exile 2 rather than the Path of Exile 1 to reach endgame. I don't know. This is just things that I'm thinking about. Obviously, they're a year away, so I'm sure some of these things are up in the air and they won't be able to confirm or deny them when you pressure them into a corner, which I hope you guys will do here at ExileCon for us. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't think that the reason for Path of Exile 1 to just exist is just for no reason. I feel like Grinding Gear Games as a company, there's some purpose to everything that they've done or left in their game. So those are my thoughts.
I feel like it might end up being a bit more of like a Path of Exile classic kind of situation, where the old campaign's there for the people that miss it and want to play it. But I think the biggest thing about this is, Chris has spoken about this in the past, but doing like a "you've killed the gods" storyline with the current game is like, where do you go from there? You can't really like tell a more humble story after that. So them having a completely new and separate campaign that you play instead allows them to tell a much more humble, grounded story of an exile once again escaping from, you know, being exiled, or in this case being attempted to hung. We might be getting Jonathan up on the stage, I believe. Yeah.
I see a very excited Jonathan in the background.
He's
No.
not
quite.
No, he's running away.
I think one thing which was also really cool. So yesterday at the dinner, I was sat next to like the guy in charge of the narrative, and I was trying to like get things up because I'm really into lore and I read all the books. I'm one of those annoying people, and we were talking about this thing of like, well, where do you go because you've changed yourself to this act system? The fact they're going for a completely separate campaign means that they're not burdened anymore by the old. And I like the fact that just as a company, they respect the player enough that they're like, you know what, we'll just do a completely separate thing, start from scratch, rather than force us to go through all this old content, which I know a lot of new players or just old players are like, I've done this act so many times now, I don't want to have to go through this and then even more, you know?
I have to tell you, the main reason why I'm not crazy about hardcore
we're cutting, dude.
all of the time. We're at?
We're being cut off. They're sick of us.
Oh,
they're sick of us.
Nice too many times. Yeah.
And down.
Hello again, everyone.
Hello.
We have Jonathan here with us.
Excellent, excellent. I'm very glad to be here. It was kind of crazy up on the stage, and yeah, a lot of people.
Well, you did a good job. I think we were all impressed you didn't die. We were kind of hoping that you would.
Right.
But at least maybe I can be the fall guy and show people truly how difficult the content is as it mercilessly defeats me.
I just want to mention I didn't have any kind of invulnerability cheat there. I was just going for it. I could have died and it would have just happened. I would have had to
have
respawn.
the forensics team go through the footage.
Yeah. I think actually I think they might have because I was dying a lot when I was testing in werewolf form. So I think they might have added a little bit of extra damage reduction, more than what it's supposed to have to werewolf form, just as a slight concession to realism there.
All right.
But yeah.
So I'll be checking out the game here.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've never done any kind of this content, so you'll have to walk me through.
100%. Yeah.
I'm the noob in this case.
Yeah, well, I mean that's good, right? I mean, I'm very interested to see what you think, seeing your actual first time playing the game. I'm really keen. We haven't had anyone outside of our office playing it at all. And I've been wanting to show people this stuff for such a long time now. It's just it's really exciting.
Okay, and we have Ziggy and Tark. You guys can comment.
I think I don't even have a mic.
Oh.
I have a mic, I think. You don't, Ziggy.
No.
You can just get very close to my face and we'll just do everything.
That's very
just
intimate,
if you can
thank you.
comment in oohs and ahs, preferably.
Yes. Big smiles.
Yes.
But right off the bat, I guess, just before we even start here, do you have any questions about what we announced in terms of structure or anything like that? Because I noticed you guys were talking on stream a second ago.
Too many questions.
Okay, too many questions. So feel free to ask me anything here.
So maybe you can settle a little bit of the debate, let's say, that we had. So how purposeful is it that there are multiple campaign sets of acts, for example? So would you just... Do you have the original 10 acts as a novelty, or is there a purpose to do them? Is there maybe some variation because your hardcore character died and you don't want to do the same run through? That's kind of what I was trying to finish my thoughts at the end there. Or maybe is one act tailored towards maybe a ranged character better than a melee character?
So the main reason we wanted to keep them is just there's so much really good content there, and we didn't want to throw that away. It's like we've worked really hard on this stuff. But the other thing as well is that splitting communities when it comes to online games, when I look at all of the various different online games that that have been popular, like live games, and then for example, you sort of go from EverQuest 1 to EverQuest 2. EverQuest 2 is less popular than EverQuest 1 was, and there's Lineage 1 and 2 as well. There's lots of, I would say, history is littered with games that were less popular, with sequels that were less popular than the original. So we just thought that it was not a good idea to split the community up. And the way we wanted to do that is we wanted to sort of assure people that everything was going to be maintained with POE 1. So the way we do that is we make sure that both of them are on the same game client. They're both always going to be sort of available. If there's anyone out there who prefers the POE 1 campaign to POE 2, which I really hope there isn't, because POE 2 campaign is way more awesome. But if there was, I don't want to feel like they're not supported. I want them to feel like, hey, everything's there. And also it's a bit of a statement as well in terms of all your microtransactions come across and all that sort of stuff. It's one living game. It just has 2 campaigns in it, and it's actually really good as well. The skill system of the POE 2 skills, that will be across both campaigns, but the actual character classes, you'll be the character models. We've re-rigged the old character models to the to the new rigs, so that you get all the new animations, but it's still the old characters. And so the thing that we're actually thinking about is that the old characters are different people than the new character classes are, and so for that reason, that's why they have different ascendancy classes. But the basic plan here is that, and this is like a hint, when there are new people, they come with new ascendancy classes, and that's something that's sort of how we see it, if you know what I mean.
How new are we talking about?
Well, here's the thing, right? So this is actually another thing that maybe you guys didn't quite get, is the fact that, okay, both of these 2 campaigns, they join in the same endgame. You can play in a...
I figured.
Yeah, you can play in the same party with people who went through on the different campaign. And so, okay, maybe you missed that one. So that means that all the 19 classes from the old campaign have to be balanced against the 19 classes of the new campaign as well.
So if I wanted to make a Pathfinder, I would have to play the old campaign.
So that's the thing. Once you have played once you've ascended in a campaign, that ascendancy class becomes available in your pool on the account, and at that point you can play that ascendancy class on any ranger, for example, that you play.
So there's the older ranger ascendancy.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
okay,
exactly.
cool.
And you unlock them by playing the old campaign. So if you're a completely new player, player, there is still an advantage to playing the old campaign through once, well, I guess per character class, to just sort of get those ascendancy, or at least up to the point where you ascend. And
30-something.
Yeah, something like that.
Wait, you can hear me, right? Yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good, all right. So when you said new ascendancies, I thought there was going to be just like reworked of the old.
No, they're new, and they're living with, in addition to the existing. So there are going to be 38 ascendancy classes once we release Path of Exile 2.
You realise that Scion is even harder to balance now.
Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous. Like we certainly had some cringe moments when we were first proposing this concept, but we got on board, and honestly, it's fine. And it's honestly, like, the other thing as well is we're really trying, and I'm spoiling content now from like one of the deep dives later, but
we don't mind.
Yeah. we're really trying to make sure that the stuff we're doing in the new ascendancy classes are stuff we couldn't do before, so that it doesn't trample too much on what we were doing in the old ascendancy classes. We want them to feel actually different and unique.
What is something that you couldn't do before? That's a very interesting thing to say.
So it's a lot of stuff to do with the way the skill system works now, and once again in the deep dives I'll be covering a little bit more about that, because we had like the lightest treatment possible, because we kind of just threw out there, we are changing the skill system a lot, and we kind of said a few of the advantages, but we didn't really talk too much about it. So I'm going to be covering quite a lot of like the history of our skill system, and like, whoa, I'm getting a bit of feedback here, and stuff like that in the deep dive. So yeah, it's actually quite a technical thing. I'm just going to be going straight into like, how do we design skill systems, what we're thinking, all our design goals, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you'll be able to see that and have a look.
Should we get started?
Let's get started. Okay, so can we pop over to the screen there, and you can see the new intro, where we have a nice, pleasant hanging scene going on there.
Just for anyone at home, me and Ziggy don't have a special monitor, so we're enjoying this side-eyed laptop view.
To really stretch your necks.
Right. Maybe they can put a foldback monitor in front of us. I'm not sure.
It's good. It looks good. It looks good from here.
Yeah.
Yes. You're welcome.
Now, so we can play Marauder, Ranger,
yes,
or Witch.
we only put the three primaries in there for now.
Okay.
We've got more animation work to do.
Enjoying the side-eyed laptop view.
Really stretch your necks.
Right.
There we go. A character with that name already exists.
Seriously?
Who's been playing?
Yeah. Well, it's on the show floor, right? Like it's on the same servers as the show floor. So Yeah. Okay.
All right, we're going Marauder.
You killed the other ones, you monster.
Well, he highlighted the Ranger, and in the trailer, the Witch lives. So I have to play for fairness' sake for the audience. Just kidding. I just want to pick Marauder.
Can you hear audio, by the way?
I cannot hear much audio.
Okay, right. Then we can get some fallback on the audio.
Oh, I can hear a little bit now.
Okay, cool.
All right, we're going Marauder. So we got Heavy Strike. Oh man, I'm not used to the normal
Yes, I know.
keybinds.
And so this is the thing, there's so much muscle memory in putting skill gems in your items that, like, around the office, like, every time I, like, always pick up a gem and I move it up to my inventory, and then I'm like, oh yeah, then left to the skill screen.
No options.
No, we turned it off for the demo.
Okay, well, we'll try to make the best of it here. So we have auto attack and heavy strike, and just I can see the Marauder looks a lot different. He looks more human, I would say.
I mean, the character model is one of the first things that we ever worked on in Path of Exile, like in 2006, right? So, like, really it was a long time coming, giving updates to those character classes.
Now, I know for optimal efficiency, I should be killing none of these, I believe.
But, it's fun to have a check them out, though, right?
Well, I got a wisdom scroll. That's like a third of a ring, right? Human, I would say.
Also, just out of interest, we saw a lot of new armor. Will that mean that
so all of the base types all being refreshed for POE 2? That was it's a mammoth task. That, and the other thing as well, I also just want you to appreciate, by the way, because this is a really mammoth task. Is re-rigging all the microtransactions to the new character classes. It's going to take a really, really, really long time. So we really need to hire some more riggers to get that mammoth task out of the way.
It's quite a big one. So Heavy Strike is an AoE now, like a really small AoE?
Yeah, it's actually like that on prod right now, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that that we actually increased it a little bit. So yeah, I should actually say, so actually that's actually important, is that because we're doing new animations for all the character classes now, we were able to really think about like when you're swinging, like what the arc of the swing is, and then make sure that that's big enough. So like Heavy Strike has bigger AOE than it does on prod because of the fact that the swing arc is like much larger. And so when we were designing the character class, something we really didn't do the first time around is we didn't really think about it in those terms because it was just like you do a melee attack and you just hit one guy. Whereas when we're thinking about it in terms of like you do a swing, you're going to hit every guy along that swing. It really changes what you're doing with animation. Like we have to do a lot of things like make sure that all of the different classes have like normalized like speeds and like timings and like how they hit and all that kind of stuff. It was like quite a thing.
You feel like it's made a big difference to the feel of the game?
I think it's made quite a big difference to the feel of melee. Like I really like a lot more how we're feeling with all the animations and stuff now. It's a serious improvement.
How do the skill gems work themselves? I actually don't even know how to bring up the
press
menu.
S.
S?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
so this club, it has 3 sockets by default, and by default they're all red.
It's not the club. It's the Heavy Strike.
Heavy Strike
has 2 support sockets in addition to itself, right? So basically, if you take that out, then the support gems come with it, and you can put it in another slot. So that means you can just like move stuff around like without having to like futz around with gems all the time.
What is the second slot? Do you just get this many gem slots?
Your primary slots still come from your items.
Okay.
So you've got a club there that you're wearing. And every one-hand mace that you find will have exactly 2 red sockets. They can be changed later, like later on the game, but everything that drops will have exactly 2 red. And what that means is that you can always change out for another club, another one-hand mace at any time, and you'll be sure that your sockets will work. So it just removes all the frustration of having to like move everything around your sockets. We just have the old passive screen there. We're not ready to announce what we're doing.
It's okay. I'm just going for some melee damage.
Just give some melee damage. Okay. So here we have the Miller fight.
So I'll just tank everything and potion up, right?
Let's see if that works out for you.
I mean, that's always worked in the past.
Yeah. Let's see how well that works.
We'll benchmark it.
Yeah.
Why is he gaining health?
Yeah, because he did his thing there. Let's see how that. Okay.
Okay, we're good so far. We're doing the right click hold right now, and it's holding up, but I only have 1 potion charge left.
with flasking, right? Okay.
Yes.
I can't see anything.
We're
so
good.
I'm just responding
We're
to
good.
different things.
Good.
So how exactly was something like 6 links work with the new system?
So basically, every time you find, so 6 links effectively are now on the gems, right? So that means that like you're not finding a 6-link armor, you're finding like a 6-link fireball. So you actually have to find 6 links for all of the different primary skills that you get.
So are there non-6-link fireballs?
Absolutely, right? So basically, so the actual gems themselves will actually have a value now that they did not before, and you can also re-roll them with, different currency, just like you could before. But it's actually sort of on the skills, and that's like a pretty substantial change. But I actually think it makes a lot more sense overall. Like when I want to get a skill upgrade, you find a skill to do it with. So yeah, that changes things quite significantly.
So is there essentially like a gem cutting that adds sockets or changes those sockets?
Well, so the existing currency that used to work on items works on skill gems now.
So it's still like fusing things up.
So
links,
not fusing because everything is implicitly linked.
Yeah.
But jewelers is what you'd use to change the number of sockets. And you have to change around.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
What will we do with all our fuses, Jonathan?
That is an interesting question. There's going to be a migration, and it's going to be pretty hellish actually now that I think about it, because consider we have to like migrate everyone's gems away from being inside their armors into like a skill screen, and then we have to like preserve it. It works differently. The stuff you can do is like not exactly the same. So that's going to be a bit of an interesting migration, especially because there's 2 billion items in the Path of Exile database.
Oh my god!
And so yeah, it's going to be a bit of that's my responsibility as a tech director.
Maybe we can help you.
I'm
sure we'll be fine. No pressure at all.
Yeah,
we can help you. We can ask everybody take your gems out of your gear, so they don't have to do it so much.
One thing I noticed is, so when I take out Heavy Strike and put it over Ground Slam, the support gem is stuck with the gem.
Yes, it is. That is actually a thing that is interesting. So when you take it out, the support gem pops out. But the reason for that is because when you get to end game, it's actually much more convenient for it to work that way. Because there was actually some discussion about that particular element. Like at low levels, it's slightly different than what you would expect. But the thing is because different gems are usually going to have different colored sockets, you can't just assume that the sockets will work when you socket them in. But yeah.
All right. I got Ground Slam.
Okay.
Wow. Looks just like a Ground Slam.
Yes.
What's that?
While he works at that, so when it comes to the shape-shifting stuff that we saw, how many forms and stuff do we have to play with?
There is more than that one. There is an Ascendancy class that's related. as well to some of the stuff. But yeah, the interesting thing about it is that so effectively when you shapeshift, what's happening is that it's effectively replacing your weapon with a one that with stats that come directly from the skill. So it's effectively a way to scale attacks like you would scale spells, because it scales with the spell instead of the so with the actual level of the spell. And so that actually means the build is quite different. Like your weapon has a different purpose.
So that explains our question about like what happens to your bow or your weapons you have equipped.
Exactly.
It's effectively being replaced with that. So,
exactly.
So I guess like the werewolf would have a weapon type of his hands.
Exactly. So it's claws for the werewolf.
Makes sense.
And then that's
Makes sense. There you go, Darky.
And so
Shadow Dream is
and so
coming
yeah.
through.
So then basically.
Sound now.
Oh, good. Excellent. That's much better. That's much better. So yeah, basically it's claws for the werewolf, and that way you can sort of scale it, and it's just quite a different way to build a character. That ranger, like I wanted to show off werewolf form, but that build was like kind of not really optimized for being a werewolf. But the thing I did want to show as well, which is a detail that matters to us, but maybe not so much to the two people in this, is that your bow stats are still used for the ranged attack totem that I was using. Sorry, that's not the official. I call it shotgun totem, but I think it's called. I can't remember the actual proper name. But basically, so those stats are still used for that. Like your weapon still matters for some stuff, but the thing is, you can't cast spells while you're in werewolf form. So you have to be changing back and forth. So when you be casting curses, then changing back, or totems, or whatever it is that you're casting while you're doing that, and then you change to werewolf form, do some attacks, then change back again. So it's supposed to be quite dynamic, and that's the reason why we want to make it so that like no matter what you're doing, you can just change straight into werewolf form and back again. Like middle of an attack, whatever, it all just kind of works.
So that'll what we were talking about, promoting shifting back and forth, because you might want to cast a spell every so often, and you can do it quite quickly from the looks of it.
Exactly. So you can do it. You can do it nearly instantly. I think there was like I think they actually added a cooldown to the skill in the demo. I think to the transform, just because there was some graphical glitches when you transform to and back at the same time.
Like double pressing.
Yeah, exactly. So it looked a bit funky. So I just had a small cooldown. We'll be fine for the demo. But yeah, we'll fix that before it comes out. It's supposed to be very, very quick. Like werewolf form, whatever. Just like werewolf form, cast the thing, do out. I should say the other way around. But anyway, yeah. So then. Then there's also some concern about, are people just going to use a travel skill? Because like you just transfer a werewolf form, you could run a bit faster. But yeah.
I mean, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
It is actually. It is pretty awesome. Especially because you can't use not regular movement skills while in werewolf form, so it's kind of a trade-off. You have to think about.
Cool. So it's like
it's like a travel form in itself. But it's quite fun.
I'm against the Devourer here. And it's one of these like lengthy multi-phase fights where you encounter the boss again and again throughout different parts of the instance. How do you feel these type of fights have worked out? I mean, I kind of like them, but I also kind of like just the straight up beat the boss type of situation. Right. But I imagine scalability makes those a bit of a problem nowadays.
It can be difficult just because we want to have some sense of epicness in the fight, but at the same time, which the Devourer fight really is, by the way, with all this. But at the same time, like we know, obviously players are really unhappy about immunity phases and that kind of stuff. It's honestly a real tough balance to sort of get the difference, when we should have one and when the other. But yeah, we try at low levels. I think it's a lot more acceptable because you're. Whoa, there you go. Haha, awesome.
Hey.
We got you. Yeah. So what you want to do is hide behind the segments of the Devourer that are like elsewhere in order to avoid the
elsewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't see any near there.
Oh, you didn't see any there?
No.
Okay.
Oh, these things? No.
So these things. Yeah, exactly. So you want to hide behind those. He as he dives around, he sort of creates them.
I see.
Yeah.
So for you personally, Jonathan, what was the bit that you were most excited for from the announcement?
I mean, honestly, I just wanted to show people that trailer. I've been wanting to show people for so long, and honestly, super stressed for are people going to like this? Are people going to even get the concept? It's kind of unusual, the thing about we're patching a sequel into our game kind of thing. It's kind of a slightly unusual thing. People get it.
That doesn't look safe. Okay, I'm only safe for a second, I guess.
Right.
He's trying to get you killed again.
Right.
Well, Chris did say he wants to kill Crip, so he's doing a good
start. He's doing it, living up to his promise. It seemed like Chris
was
actually...
this will be quite a challenge going through the first time.
So we actually want to try and bring the difficulty back.
Okay.
It's been a long time, I feel, since people have been really challenged, especially in the early game. We want to actually make sure that people are. So yeah, I mean, but we're sort of making a statement here. This is effectively the boss that replaces Hailrake. So, like, it's a bit of an upgrade in terms of complexity and difficulty there.
And hit points.
Yeah.
So how will this be reflected in the endgame? Like, should we expect this difficulty curve to continue into the maps and the bosses?
So we are actually, in 3.9, we're actually increasing the difficulty of in-game quite significantly as well. There's a few mechanics that Chris is going to talk about during the 3.90 deep dive that I think will be really interesting.
No more health.
Yep.
Do I have a TP? Okay, we're going to town.
Flee.
That was pretty close on that one. I think that AoE would have hit.
There should be little worms walking around. Whoa, shit.
That was
okay,
good.
Nice.
If you catch that in melee, you're kind of done for.
Right.
Maybe with a leap slime or something that would work out a little bit better. So he does the thing, and then he breathes. But if he breathes near you like he did there, you don't really have much of a chance. I kind of wish I didn't make a melee character right now.
He's forgetting rule number 1. Don't get hit.
Yep.
I'm gonna start breathing, but I think we need to be like
so
in front of him for him to actually breathe.
That big breathe, as you call it, you have to get behind the one of the tail segments, or you're really gonna be screwed.
Okay, well we got some loot at least. Maybe I'll make my character amazing now. Here we go. It's a short sword. Oh, there's little worm things.
Yeah. That's your flash charges right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
When this launches, will there be a helpful Jonathan assisting every player through the first boss?
If only I could do that.
The first optional boss.
Yeah. It is optional. It's true.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, if it replaces Hellrake.
Yeah. It does.
How did you go about creating all this, like, this whole new campaign? Was it kind of like looking at what you've done before and trying to, like, here's the Hailrake fight, so we can make something like that? Or is it just completely new chance for you to do something different?
There was an element of that. Like the first area is definitely supposed to be evocative of nostalgia for the original POE 1 campaign, but we kind of diverged fairly quickly after that. So I'm obviously not going to talk about subsequent acts and so on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really you saw the trailer, right?
Yeah.
So there was some interesting shots in that trailer from subsequent acts that we hopefully you're excited to see.
It's I've spoken to Chris about this in the past before, but the idea of having the 10-act campaign we have now being like ending in you killing the actual gods.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
we needed to bring it back. We needed to bring things like down a level.
Yep.
Like so like getting things. Just on a human scale again.
So a lot more humble, back to
exactly.
basics.
Yeah. And so that's why you literally start with a hanging.
Whose idea was the hanging?
That was Eric's idea, and it was a very good idea. Very good idea, I may say.
Eric is dark.
Yes, he definitely is. Yeah. So I was like, when I heard this idea, I'm like, yes. This is what we're doing. And the other thing as well is that I think the current character selection screen is actually like I don't actually like it as much as I liked the original ship scene. Like I think the ship scene just had this more sort of evocative feel of like what the game was about, and I think we're trying to bring that back with POE 2. Like really get that feel like right from the very beginning. You're like, I understand this like a story where it's a dark story with like characters that are exiles, right?
That's really interesting because you effectively make something new. You go really epic and you're like, let's make it epic, but then you realize, it was kind of cool when we were just washing up on the ship.
It was. So
I was actually having that exact conversation with Nick yesterday at the dinner because I was sat opposite him and I was like, we talked specifically about the screening. He was like, yeah, we preferred the old one.
Right. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but how these things go. We've learned.
And now the character selection screen is gonna make people cringe every time they select type in their name. They're like, enter.
Well, the thing that I really wanted, actually, I remember saying at the time, is like I want like when you click the button to feel like I did this, like I caused this hang. It's like I click, it's like
That's what it looks
really
like. You pick the one that lives.
Right, exactly.
That's brutal.
So let's see how far you can get in this little playthrough here. I guess you don't have any more red sockets on your character?
I guess I have to get different type of items, so I would have to chrome these, I suppose.
So the so at the start you'll probably want to be wearing some like a strength armor. I don't know if you've got one there. Is that one there?
I have this thing, but
okay.
I don't know if I want to. Okay, yeah. I guess leather vest is kind of weak.
Cool. Right.
But yeah, if you can kind of you can kind of tell the differences. I'm really blown away by this. The grittiness while making it a lot more modern.
Well, a lot of it is down to our new, like, a lot of engine tech that we've been working on for quite a long time. So, I mean, it's interesting actually because we've, like, a lot of the stuff is patched in to the current shipping game, and yet none of it is really being used because we didn't have the assets for it. So, for example, like this PBR rendering pipeline, physically based rendering as it's called, is like basically like the standard for modern games, and we kind of had to like find a way to sort of patch it in so it could sort of live with all of our old techs for the POE 1 campaign at the same time as having new stuff as well. And it looks really a lot better. So like 3D scans and stuff like that. So like, we hired a company to go around Europe to like medieval churches and like scan statues and stuff like that. These are things that we've done. So yeah, there's just a lot of stuff coming along.
You didn't use that as an excuse to get out there yourself?
No, unfortunately.
Medieval
not.
Church tours?
Yeah, exactly.
Research.
Yeah.
Research.
I'd love it. That'd be good company expense there. Yeah. So the next area after this one is actually probably my favorite in the campaign right now. Hopefully you can find it pretty soon.
Well, I think it's the one by the waypoint, but I just went around.
It's funny because the demo is limited. Like you're not limited right now, but the demo for the show floor is limited to 45 minutes.
Oh, I see.
And we had QA saying, "What are people going to do for the other 15 minutes?" And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man! Like, there's no way they can get through an entire act I've never seen before in that amount of time.
I guess I'm mistaken. That's the waypoint's by the dungeon.
The waypoint's by the dungeon, so that's how you come back once you town portal back up and go down the waypoint.
No, so I guess I haven't found the next area yet.
Yeah, you haven't.
While Crip works that out, so something that you and Chris were stressing on stage is how like the world has this generation now. Like,
yes, that's so basically now rather than just generating within an area. The actual world screen, the world panel, is now randomly generated, so all the areas have a different layout on the world screen as well. And the reason we did that is we were actually really being held back by the fact that, like, so, if you look at something like the mud flats, your entrance is always on the left, and the exit is always on the right, and the exit to the what do you call it? The dark area. Fetid pool. That's what. Sorry. The entrance to the fetid pool is always kind of on the top, right? So now we can randomly generate like the whole the layout on the world panel as well, and so that means that we can really have proper randomness. Like all those entrances move to different places.
Oh no.
So yeah, it's going to be harder for the speedruns.
I'm going to get so lost.
Yeah. And that's actually a really interesting feature. It actually made a huge difference. And when you start thinking about it that way, there's all sorts of stuff you start thinking about. Like for example, there's like a river that flows through town. So you have to be thinking like, okay, so if you're going north, if the exit from town, which is because there's 3 different exits to town, if you're going north at the exit, then that means you have to consider that there's a river on the left, like as you come out. But if you go to the right of town to go out that way, then there's no river and that kind of stuff. So we have to start thinking on that level with like a little bit of stuff in our generation. It starts to get a little bit tricky to work all that stuff out.
How lost do you want me to get? Are you going to give me something to work with here?
Well, I mean, you can still look at the world panel, so you can still see the question marks that appear for the next area.
So
you
the
can kind of see. Well, yeah, exactly. So if you look at it, you can see which direction to sort of vaguely go.
Okay.
I love the forest area. Especially the other thing as well you can see here is monsters that are actually fast.
Yes, I was about to say that actually.
Yeah,
those are pretty quick for
the werewolves, like the
white mobs.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that's like a real improvement to what we've been doing.
That's true. We're nearly always going to outrun monsters.
Right, exactly. But once again, it's an element of making it hard again. It's like having fast monsters. You can't outrun it. You have to kill that thing. If it generates as a rare, it's kind of like nasty.
Not just that, it kind of slows the game down, even though they're faster, because with slower mobs, you just pull them up. And then just kill them all at once. But if they're like on top of you, you can't really set that up as easily.
Right. Well, we did have this problem before where, I guess some people maybe don't consider it a problem, where it's like you could just kind of always run. Like there was nothing in the game that would ever stop you. And that's something that I think is good to actually try and address, because it actually I think it adds a little bit more skill during the regular playthrough. So very shortly you should be coming to the tree that's behind us here in the venue.
Oh, okay. It felt so familiar. I was somewhat surprised to hear that it's not part of the game yet. It felt like it blends right in.
Right. Well, it's just our art style, I guess.
Would you like to tell us who the fellow with the blue eyes is?
I would not actually. For now, he. I'm trying to think, because I know who he is, and so I'm struggling to think of what do we call him before the reveal, but whatever.
I got him. He's the hooded one.
Right. Yes. There we go. The hooded one.
yes, there's a full life-size statue upstairs.
Yes.
Of,
That's I was really happy when I saw what they'd done there. It's
very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
We can zoom in for a close-up of the hooded one in game here.
It was quite fun.
Running skills there.
Well, I'm not trying to speedrun. I'm relishing it.
Taking his time. Good. Excellent.
Since we are on limited time, is there anything you would like to stress or bring up?
Honestly, I hope we addressed that in the keynote. You know, that was the whole idea after all. Walk around and talk to some of the players who played the demo, see what they think. You know, yeah, I think it's gonna be really fun.
If you're trying to up the speed of the monsters, is maybe looking at stun resistance a way to combat that as well? Because I feel like with scaling damage so high, you just stun everything with every hit.
Right. There is actually a different system for that, I think. I'm not entirely sure, actually. Okay, I'm not sure what's going in 3.9 and what's going in 4.0, so yeah, I don't know whether I should... No, I think
you should tell us.
Right. Sorry. I think I know it's not like 100% correct yet. So you know, 'cause for example, I don't know if anyone's talked to you guys so far, or if we did it again, because there's this whole we're changing the way the ailment resistance works to change the way that bosses resist ailments a lot. I'm pretty sure it's in the 3.9. No, wait. No, I don't think it's even in the 3.9 deep dive. So at some point, someone will probably tell the players about the fact that we changed the way ailment resistance works on all the monsters, because there was a problem with bosses where it was we had way too many bosses that were you just cannot freeze this, you just can't do this, you can't do that, right? So that was we had to do for design reasons, because the numbers we were using just didn't make it, we didn't have the control we needed, and that's been something that we addressed quite significantly. I believe 3.9. I think stun might be bundled up in that stuff as well. So yeah.
You are it seems like some of this stuff is going to make the game a bit more accessible for new players joining and checking out the game, but at the same time it looks like it's getting a lot harder.
Well, this is the thing. So we kind of had this goal of okay, I want to make the game easier to play, easier to understand, and way more deep. And it's these design goals seem conflicting somehow, but yet we sort of have to do it somehow. And that was the needle we were trying to thread with the skill system. I sort of talk a lot about how we designed it and so on in the deep dive, or I will do rather. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing, and I think we've actually achieved it. I'm actually really happy with how the skill system stuff turned out. Once you get a chance to sort of play around with it a little bit more, I hope you guys will agree. Yeah, we're really worried, right? That's a huge iconic thing. What was that? Sorry.
I think our segment's about to end here, and I just made it to the red veil. So maybe a few final thoughts on maybe this zone, perhaps, because we'll probably see a little bit of it on the demo floor.
Yeah, you should definitely click on one of the glowing pillars that's around here, and hopefully survive it. Yes.
He's trying to get you killed.
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay. Fine.
All right.
I'll try to navigate. I don't know if we'll find one in time.
I think we're about to hit the whole
Probably won't.
I'm sure.
I think we're getting booted.
Yeah, we're getting booted.
Jonathan, thank you very much for joining us. An amazing keynote. Blew my mind,
excellent,
my whole body.
Excellent. Thank you very much for being here, guys.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Yeah. No worries. All right. I think we're good.
well, we didn't get the proper form. We didn't get the proper form. Their fucking guys are the ones that filled out the goddamn forms. Fucking GA bullshit. You got fuckers out there that have nothing wrong with them. They're fucking getting 100% disability, all because they filed a certain paper form. Fuck them. Anymore, so we'll see what happens now.
Which is probably good for some reasons, bad for others. We don't get any crazy insight. I was just shopping here a little bit and realized I don't have enough strength. Man, when does that ever happen? I'll just get through the game mode. So far, the main challenge that I've had is the fact that you can't actually change the keybinds in this. Oh my god. I have no attack. I just put on a sword. Okay. Well, let's just auto-attack these guys down. Perfect. Sure. I should probably go to town, but I think I used up my last portal, and I don't know if I can, like, escape. So this is the thing that was supposed to be bad, and probably is, because I have no attack. Okay. Awesome. Wait, did I sell my last item or not? No, it's still in my inventory, so I can do that. Jeez. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy when you play in the comfort of your home on your computer. It's you get used to a very different setup, and it can be quite challenging to have to work it out, play with completely different controls. It's like playing... It's worse than playing a new game, because in a new game, you just kind of get used to the controls as it is. It's just whenever anything happens, I'm used to hitting a certain button, and that button doesn't work. And also, in general, they did make this this demo quite a bit harder. The monsters do hit pretty hard. The Hellrake replacement was certainly a challenge, I would say. Alright, so this is the goal here. I don't know what to do with Steel Skin. Where is this going in? I'm not sure. I guess because it's a two-hander, it has 4 possible skills in it. Alright. So I'm just going to ground slam it up. I checked the vendor for gems, and there isn't much there outside of some slamming or molten strike, and I think I'd rather play old school and get the ground slam going. I can try to speed through a little bit more. There is a quest here, seemingly up this path, and another on the other side. I wonder if they are just felling axe 10 to 23. I wonder if there are those pillars that just spawn a bunch of dudes. These flower monsters, they all bundle up in one area. It's kind of cool, but I think they spawn based on proximity, which supposedly is a way to balance out range versus melee. Look how narrow that is. Alright. Let's roll it. Oh my god. We're OP, boys. Can we ground slam with this thing? Perfect. Yeah, so I guess this kind of replaces the mud flats with the different roas. You have to pick up their eggs. You have to click on the pillars. It seems like there's probably 3 of them. I mean, I have 2 in my inventory. We're gonna run up and get the 3rd here. It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of parallels. Like, you know, one boss is on this stage in an optional zone. This is probably gonna be get 3 items. Oh, okay, that hurts. Okay, that's a massive bleed. I need to stop moving, but I have to, yeah. Okay. Oh, this is all the way here? I think I rather would have went to town and picked up some potions. There's a lot more like surprise boss fights, and the bosses don't seem very kind to standing in front of them. Oh my god, that's a long run back. I'm not so sure I could do it actually. Okay, perfect. Portal scroll. Let's stock up. Yeah, I just need a bunch more health potions that actually regenerate more health than normal.
How's the clearing?
And I'm kind of curious what there is in terms of items. Sure, 15 life.
Next time.
I went a bit on the damage end, but that didn't seem to help too much because it seems that the bosses have tremendous hit points. You can't just kill them and move on to the next so easily. Fine. And these are 70, those are 150, okay. I don't know if 1 extra flask is really gonna do it. No, that's a bit weak. There, we're gonna stock up. Oh, those all have stats. Okay, fine. There. I can handle it now. Let's go. Probably. Anyway. So we gotta go and take care of this Rust King. This is a pretty funny loot filter. I'm used to everything that dropping having any kind of animation being particularly good. Not so sure about that one. Alright. Defeat the Rust King to obtain the final rune of power. So it is like the 3 rune thing. So the Rust King is probably the replacement for the giant infested Roa that you normally don't have to kill, but here we're gonna have to kill it. Those are so fast. Okay. Oh, I can see the little spikes on his belt there.
Alright, I gotta find a way to get this.
There's gonna be quite a learning experience on these bosses, I'll say that. got a bow. Don't think I'll use that though. So we gotta return to town, but I'm not gonna really do the escape trick here. Wait, what's that? Oh, it requires level 8. Now, if this is gonna be like Mudflats, it shouldn't... It should have just an area where we walk to. So let's walk around and try to find where that is. Based on the color of those shots, it would seem like this is chaos damage. Okay. No, I guess we actually have to go to town. Okay, we're gonna hit up the bottom here just in case. It's a beautiful zone though. Damage. Goes against everything I believe in, right? It's all about the HP nodes. It certainly made this content quite challenging though. But with the people on the floor having only 45 minutes, this is probably how they're going to have to play it.
Hey, Ed. What's going on, brother?
No, I guess we actually had to go to
Going,
town.
I'm going. So what do you think of this new stuff, man?
I don't have any TP scrolls. I think it probably might reset the demo if I exit back and forth, because they probably have some kind of reset.
Yeah. I was fixing the mic because it wasn't picking you up on my stream.
Oh, okay.
It is now, though. It is now. But
No.
but what I seen from what they were showing, oh my God, the way that the new skill gems are going to be set up is really, really nice. The animations look really nice.
Yes, yes. The animations look much more what I said smooth.
Yes, more smooth. Yes.
Yes.
One of the other things that I noticed is what I really liked is how dark the game still is. Really
Yes.
dark still. Really gritty, really raw. And when you pick your exile, the other ones hang. They hang them.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yes.
holy shit, are you kidding me?
Yes, yes. It's like, man, you're really fucked. You almost died.
I know. And when I seen all that, I was like, there's no way. And they did it. And I have to admit, they have blown the whole D4 thing right out the window.
Yes.
It's blown right out the window. The mobile, the Exile mobile, they have blown Diablo out of the water again.
Yes, yes, yes. Because Blizzard make that. Uh, we can call that a mistake, right?
Yes, yes. You
Yes,
call it a mistake.
totally. And I'm see that like an answer, GGG is talking. Hey dudes, you make a mistake and we're not messing around. You're gonna run to catch us, and
Oh yeah, definitely. I really see the I really see a lot of the new skills, like tornado shot. Now, no, not tornado shot. Sorry. The ballista, they got. It fires
yes,
shrapnel shot. It fires shrapnel shot.
yes. Did you
Building
see that?
around that, you can build a very good chaos build and just melt things because of the way the gym slots are set.
Yes. Oh, okay. Did you see that ice one?
Yes.
There's like
Yes.
a arrow ring, and then
Yep.
almost a tornado shot explosion.
Yeah, I did. I seen that, and it was pretty amazing what they it's pretty amazing what they've come up with these with the new builds.
Nice. Yes, the animation looks really nice to run. You see.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Okay.
Now, when it comes to the updates, but yeah, when you have the um, ballistas, okay, changing those out with all these different setups. I mean, who's to say that you couldn't drop in some of these other what do they call them now? Hold on a second. I'm trying to think.
The plus gems, you mean?
Yeah, the plus gems. The plus gems are at level 1 are better than the level 20 gems.
Yes.
It's like, are you kidding me? How in the hell? I mean, you're going to have some really spectacular builds, but what I've noticed is how much more harder these bosses are in the beginning. I mean, look at that bell boss. I mean, he almost one-shotted him. You know, from the get-go.
In the I believe in the last expansion, they try to rebalance the starter mobs, and they make the starter bosses a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And I believe they making their way to uh, this uh, this type of gameplay.
Yeah. Well, it's like what I'm noticing is, okay, you've got Path of Exile, you got the first one. Now you're coming out, you've got the second one, Path of Exile 2.
Yep.
And
But it's gonna be a different game, or it's gonna be a expansion.
it's an expansion. You
Oh,
will be. It's one game. It's all going to be one game, just two different campaigns. Everything transfers over. All your stash tabs, all of your currencies, all that stuff. Everything transfers over.
okay.
But at the end of Atlas here, they have a little bit more that's going to happen, because it boils down to the exiles have spent so much time going into the maps that they have become greedy, and so Zana traps them in the freaking map device.
What?
So, yeah, you didn't see that?
No. I just get back and
Oh,
just
you need
watching.
to see that. It adds a whole new end game for this game, for the Path of Exile, this particular part of Path of Exile.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. It's
so Zana trapped the exiles because they are greedy. So I always
yeah,
play with MF. So I'm toasted.
yeah, right. When I was looking at it, I seen it, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on. So what's gonna happen now? Type thing. And so what it boils down to is you're a new type of exile, I guess, or whatever. Or they're talking about the exiles before us as exiles, where she's trapped them inside of this. Now, this comes with 3.9. And with 3.9, you've got the new Metamorphosis League, where certain bosses will drop essences from each boss. And then you take those essences and you combine them to create a new boss to kill.
Oh, that is the shape shifting boss, right?
No.
Oh.
It's called a metamorphosis boss. What it is you're taking essences from each of the bosses and you're putting it together. Whereas in 4.0, you are going to be the shapeshifter. With gems, you use the gems, and certain gems give you the ability to shapeshift into werewolves or into whatever else. They only showed the werewolf part. You'll be able to transfer.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty epic, man.
Nice.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be epic as hell. And so I can't wait to see what they've got in store for this new stuff that is out.
Yes. Did you think they trying to go to that more kind of low and more depth gameplay?
What do you
What do you
mean?
think? It's like okay, I'm watching the stream right now. Okay, he's running around, ground slam, killing three mobs, and when I play Path of Exile, I normally play tornado shot MF build, and I get 400 movement speed and destroy everything on the screen and farm. It's much more faster. You think they trying to let the game in like
Um,
that type of gameplay?
well, I think what they're doing is they're making it more difficult to do that kind of thing.
Okay.
Now, that being said, I don't mind that kind of gameplay. Now, depending on what they're um, planning on doing next, that's what I want to see. I want to see what is next. What's going to happen after this next time?
Right.
I want to see what's going to happen. I can guarantee you, this is going to be um, It's just going to be a shitstorm. And changing out my cold ribbons for wave drivers.
Oh.
Afternoon.
Oh, are you playing?
Yeah, I'm playing now.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I kind of like that different way to gameplay too, like more slow, more. It's like everything you do get more importance in the gameplay.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't wait to see all of the new stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, all that new stuff is going to be pretty freaking amazing, I think.
Yes, yes. I'm actually more curious about how they gonna keep all the old things in the game, you know?
Well, the thing is they're making it so that you have one chapter, and then you're going to turn around and you're going to have...
I need more mana.
Okay, but they're going to make it so that you're able to do that with just the... But they are going to make it so that when you're trying to think of how it how to work. Yeah, I don't know how to word it. I really don't know how to word it. But I mean, ultimately, you're going to be able to play both games.
No.
Like you'll be able to finish one and then go into the other one, or you could just start in the other one without finishing the first one.
Oh. So if I don't want to play the what I already know, I can just go to the like second part and start from the
Yeah.
7X.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it's its own game. It's just you go through the same process. Like they didn't show the screen, but I'm speculating that the screen is going to have the ability to go to the War of Atlas or to Exile 2. You know, Path of Exile 2 and do Path of Exile 2. Yeah. Have you seen the guy? He has he created a necromancer and only has the he only has the weapon, the two-handed weapon, with the zombies in it. No other thing. No armor, no nothing. And he beats freaking Elder and Shaper both.
Oh shit!
And all he has are zombies.
You mean in Blight?
In Blight.
Holy fuck!
Well, no, he doesn't have it in Blight because he has it in Standard League, but you can do it in Blight. He's done it in Blight, but he's got it in the other one because he had the weapon you can get no matter where you're at. It doesn't matter if you're in Standard or in the other league. In Blight, or it doesn't matter. You can be in either or. But yeah, I mean, when I seen him do it, I was like, "There's just no fucking way." And all it is he just runs around and doesn't get hit. He even did it without using any flasks.
What the fuck, dude?
He only raised zombies, and he did it on a 5-lane.
I already see on other leagues people playing like necromancer with just zombies and like hitting shaper with a tabula hazard. So I know just a weapon and anything else is much more hardcore, but yeah, we already have a necromancer build that can kill shaper with a tabula hazard because like zombies and pretty much all the minions on Exile got their base damage from their levels, right?
Yeah.
So what I mean is when you play like a melee build, you have your multipliers, right? You have your more multipliers, you have your speed multipliers, you have your increased damages, but your main damage comes for your weapon, right? So because of that, when you make upgrades like I have this DPS and I go to double DPS, I got much more increase on my tooltip because you base DPS is much more important than multiplier. And minions like zombies got their base damage from their level. So when you got level 21 zombie jam, you have much more base damage than a level 20 zombie.
Yeah.
And there's a build that you use tabula rasa with +1 level. 21 zombie, level 3 or 4 empower, and you got like a level 26 zombie. So damage is skyhawk.
Yeah, I've got on Standard League, I've got my zombies up to my gem is up to level. I can get it up to level 25, I think. I can get up to like level 25. That's freaking insane.
It's a big buff of damage. It's like when you use spells, you got like Bleed Vortex level 21. It's a really big boost of damage.
See what this tower can really do.
Yeah. Yeah, these zombie builds it's just so OP. It's not even funny.
In the last in the blight they got in the game unique dagger. It's like cold iron point. It gives +3 level to all physical spell skill gems. You know if that works on zombies or
Hold on. I can look and see what zombies are considered. Summon skeletons is a spell. Raise zombies is a spell.
they have a physical tag?
Raise specter is a spell. And the raise zombie, they are physical. It doesn't say they're physical, but they are physical because you can use melee splash support with them.
Okay.
And with the summoned skeletons, you can use minion damage, and I use Infernal Legion for them. Like right now, my Infernal Legion from a gem itself is level 18, but from items it's level 20 already. So I can get a level 22 out of it as soon as I am done here. It's my Infernal Legion, what it is. And so when I'm done, my Infernal Legion will be level 22.
Okay. Probably that dagger don't work for minions because they don't have the physical tag on the gem. It's like some skeletons are spell, minion, and duration. And dagger says he get +3 to the level of all physical spells.
And if you're using the summon carrion golem, he's physical, minion, and spell.
All right, so with that one works. And Herald of Agony. Herald of Agony is
Herald of Agony.
spell, herald, minion, chaos, and physical.
And physical, yep.
Oh.
So you have, if you go for the, hold on, let me find it real quick. You go for up over
Summon golem. Summon stone golem is physical too.
yes, Stone Golem is physical as well. But there is a where the hell is Golem Commander. Golem Commander, you can get an additional golem. So if you're rocking 2 of the rock hammers, the golem hammers, if you're rocking 2 of them, that's 2 rock golems you get.
Okay.
Then, if you're running the Herald, you get a Herald of Agony. Okay. Then you have the Carrion Golem. And then if you get a max number of golems, you get another 1. That's 4 golems just from 2 uniques and 2 uniques that you can get really cheap, and on the talent tree. And on the talent tree, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 to get to that one for the maximum number of golems.
Okay.
It's straight up the tree off of the witch. Straight up the tree.
Oh, right, right, I know. It's the new one is the carrion golem, right?
Yes, yes.
Carrion,
That's
right.
what I use right now. And the carrion golem, he actually gets you summon a carrion golem that grants an added physical damage for your not for all of your non-golem minions. The carrion golem attacks with a series of slashes that increases in speed and damage, as well as a cascade of bone spikes, and deals more damage for each of your non-golem minions nearby.
Okay.
So I'm running 8 zombies, 3 specters, and then 9 skeletons. So I get 9 skeletons, 8, 17, 20. I have 20 non golems that are non golem minions.
Okay.
So it ramps up. Let's see, it says golems deal 8% more damage per non golem minion near them, up to 80%.
Oh.
And then it grants it grants 25 to 38 additional physical damage for non golem minions.
Okay. Holy flat damage is really strong. So what I'm thinking is, so the cold and iron point, that's the Azumit dagger, is the new one for the blight
And the
expansion.
blight league.
Yes, yes, it's the
Okay,
new
okay,
one added
okay.
on the Blight League. So it says on the dagger, right? +3 to level of all physical spell skill gems, right? And there deals no elemental damage. So what I'm thinking is dual wielding this, so it's +6 to all physical spell skill gems. So you go to Herald of Agony. It's a spell. It's a herald, minion, chaos, and physical. So you get your Herald of Agony in level 21 by corruption. You get a +1 for like Tabula Rasa, so 22, and you got 6 more levels from the daggers. So you get level 28 Herald of Agony. So the dagger says deals no elemental damage, but you can use like
Okay, so it means that you're not going to do elemental damage. That's
and
you.
probably not either your minions, but
Well,
the Herald of Agony is just physical and chaos, so
I mean,
don't make any
you've got,
difference.
yeah, I was gonna say you've got a clay shaper. You can run a clay shaper with it as well. Clay shaper gives you a level 12 stone golem.
Oh, right, right. But the Cold and Iron point gives +3 to level, and if you take a look on the Herald of Agony, you higher you got the level, higher is the flat physical damage is from to each stack of virulence.
Mm-hmm.
So in level 20 you got like 45 to 84 for each stack,
Mm-hmm.
and to level 28 you got well, you got more than the double. And actually you have these daggers make the physical minions much stronger, that can be used on the carrion golem as well, because
On
it's a
the
physical minion spell golem.
on the standard league, I was messing around with some of my chaos gems and trying to craft something,
Okay.
and I crafted. Let's see if I can find it in my spell tab. I crafted a shaper claw that gives me. Socketed gems are supported by level 20 multi strike. It has plus 38 to life gained for each enemy hit, plus 14 to mana for gained for each enemy hit, 20% attack, 20% increased attack speed. Physical damage is leached as mana, and when you kill a rare monster, you have a 20% chance to gain one of its modifiers for 10 seconds.
Oh, it's like a baby headhunt.
Yeah. Are you looking at my stream? Or are you in game? Are you in game?
I just opened.
Okay.
I'm looking right now.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna show it to you. But I crafted that bad boy right there, and I still have a suffix and a prefix still on it. And if I can get rid of the lightning damage, that gives me 2 prefixes and 1 suffix I can still do.
Yeah. The problem I see is that you don't have that much flat physical damage, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. If you take the lightning damage off, you can get the flat physical put on there instead. Get rid of the lightning damage and add flat physical damage. And I'll tell you, putting flat physical damage on that, I mean, that's a monster. You can get that with flat physical, that's a monster.
It's a really, really fast attacks per second. Bro, I need a minute. I'll be right back. Right back.
Yeah. Yeah, like he was saying, this flat physical damage on that would be amazing. I really don't want to screw it up. I got 1 and all, and that's it. That's all I have. I have 1 and all. That's it. I wish there was a way to block it how it pulled modifier so it pull that 1 off, but there's no way of doing that.
I'm back.
Alright. Yeah, I was gonna say I only have 1 annul and that's it. I have no more annuls. I'm afraid to even try to annul that off to get the flat physical.
You mean on Blight?
No. If I had this on Blight, I wouldn't be selling it for 3 exalts. That bitch would be at least 10 exalts.
I have a no here.
I'm still trying to figure out now. I've got a +2 to level of socketed traps and mind gems tabula rasa with 5% increased max life on it. I mean, that's pretty freaking sweet.
Yes.
Then I've got these gloves. They're kind of trash, but it has increased attack speed, increased projectile speed, increased damage with poison. Socketed gems are supported by level 16 poison. Socketed gems are supported by 16 faster attack. And socketed gems are supported by level 16 faster projectile. That's like, oof.
That's a 7 link.
Yeah, it's a 7. 7-link set of glove. It's a shaper.
Okay.
Or elder, excuse me. I think it's elder. It's elder. Sorry, it's elder.
The problem is, bro, I have no idea for price checks right now. I just don't have play blight at all.
Yeah, blight is something of a different creature, all because the anointments that you can get. The anointments make things so much difficult to price.
Oh, okay.
Like, see, right now I get plus 21. Or excuse me, not plus. Sorry. On my stat, or not to my staff, but on my staff I have raised zombie, and it's a level 21 gem with the because it has a +2 from the item, and then +3 from the global modifiers. So it's a level 16 gem with 5 levels already on it, which makes it a level 21.
What is it? What is that global modifier?
The global modifiers is from. Hold on one second. Here's the +2 to all minion skills, unnatural strength.
Oh.
Get +2 there.
Okay.
So even your golems, if you got +2 to your gems, you got even more than what you were saying you were getting before. Add 2 more to that.
All right, they got the necromancer revamped. I don't see that. I don't see that.
Look at here, mindless aggression, movement speed, damage, attack speed, and cast speed all increased. Right? Here you got bone barrier, so you're granted a level 20 bone barrier armor skill. You get 1% additional physical damage reduction per minion up to 10%. You get +3 to all elemental resistances per minion up to 30%. And then you get a 3% increased recovery rate of life and injury shield per minion up to 30%. And minions have 20% more max life.
More. Oh.
Yeah.
We still have Commander of Darkness.
Right there.
On the left.
Right there.
Okay.
And this is on standard mode, by the way.
Oh.
When you and your allies are affected by auras from skills, have +20% to elemental resistance.
Yes, that's this Commander of Darkness is the for the support build I use.
Yeah. Well, you got 20% there, and you've got 30% there. That's 50%. Or no, hold on. Yeah, 30%.
Yeah, but bone barrier is just for the necromancer.
Yes.
Commander of Darkness. I have support aura bot build that use Commander of Darkness.
Yes. And see, and that's what I'm gonna. That's my next set of points is gonna go into Commander of Darkness, because all of my minions will then get that 20% to elemental resistance as well, and the 30% increased damage.
They have added the Legion to the core of the game.
Yes, Legion is added to the core of the game, but it's rare. It's very rare to get it. Like right now, I'm at 100% fire resistance, 72 cold, and 72 lightning resistance because of that. Foam barrier. Nodes, the foam barrier nodes, and what it gives me that extra 30%, that extra 30% goes right onto here. So I can actually, eventually, once I get into the other one, that's 50%. I don't need that much for off of my armor. So I can get better rings, better necklaces. I don't have to have it all on everything, you know what I mean? I can get away from that. Like my helm right now, my helm is rocking 18 fire, 15 cold, and 17 lightning. I'll be able to change out my helm to get a better helm. I'm using Jeffrey's Press right now.
So, bro, are you farming, leveling something?
I've just been messing around, trying to figure out the builds. You know, trying to figure out a good build somewhere. What seems to be working, what doesn't seem to be working. I haven't been really farming yet. Like on my lightweight.
So did you know how to reset the Legion stone? It's like we both go to
when you hit the button, or when you hit that centerpiece after you've killed as much as you can, you hit it and then you reset it. And
but you're gonna stay resetting on the middle. You just go to the middle. When he's reset, he's shoot the energy up. You go out and go in, and reset again. You want to try to farm a legion? I have 3 pieces here from the league, and I'm on my tornado shot with headhunter and all the stuff.
On what, light?
No. I'm on standard.
Oh, standard.
Yes.
I'll probably survive S, because I've got to rework a lot of my other builds. Rework them. Just not up to par right yet.
Okay.
I would have to rework a lot of my
It's like anything you know can survive.
Yeah, that's my problem. I don't think I have any. So I'm still like I said, I'm still working on trying to figure out a a very, very tanky build that still can put out decent damage.
One time I have make block full block build, and did you know that you can block the traps on the lab? I was playing with a full block build, and it's like six leagues ago, and I discovered that we can block the traps on the lab. So I made a lab runner with full block to just walk.
Wow.
My mana is gone.
Yeah, this is my tectonic slam guy. He's not too.
You have the minions on that. Oh, right, the golem and the
What's that?
I'm talking about your minions. You have that Herald of Fury. Okay, bro, I need to go.
Okay,
I'm
man.
gonna skip this.
No, I haven't eaten dinner yet. I don't eat dinner here.
Oh, okay. So, good live stream to you. So we talk later, right?
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Thanks. See ya.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later, bro.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye. I got a full passive now. Get up on that. See, I'm all the way over here. That elemental resistance is fire, cold, and lightning resistance is so low, but I'm surviving still. But it would be best if I had this all up. Better off. Yeah, so I mean, we ain't got much on this guy as far as a build. Figure it out. So anyway, peeps, I'm gonna be going for now. I gotta go eat, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Like I always say, friends don't let friends get along.